The Midnight Sky is about a man trapped underground and a crew in outer space. But it never really goes anywhere. It opens with Augustine alone in a building in the year 2049, 3 weeks after the event. What was the event? Well, you'll never know. He has terminal cancer and all of humanity is going somewhere while he stays behind. Where are they going? Well, you'll never know. This woman's daughter is missing, but she was put on another helicopter. Is that true? Well, you'll see. It then flashes back to, 20 years ago? And has a young Augustine showing a moon that he found orbiting Jupiter that is capable of sustaining life. But it never explains that this is a flashback, so it seems like this is just another place during the same time period, especially because this guy playing a young Augustine looks nothing like George Clooney. We see that all the spaceships, except for Ether, are now inactive, so I'm going to assume everyone is dead? We then meet Sully, who's on Ether, which is actually quite a beautiful planet. But she accidentally gets left behind. But wait, it was just a dream. I don't know why they felt the need to make her pregnant in this, especially with the stuff that she does later on. I guess it was because Felicity Jones was actually pregnant when filming, but even still, they couldn't have waited or found another actress. And we're introduced to the crew, and get a look at the ship and the space shuttle that completely won't be used later. Back on Earth, weird stuff starts happening with Augustine, and he finds a little girl there. But is she real? Maybe, it's possible, no. This girl never talks, but he finds out her name is Iris by a drawing she drew. Did they not think this made it immediately obvious that she was just his imagination? It shows that the Ether ship has a cool hologram thing that lets them see their families. But my question is, if they have other technology far more advanced than this, why do these holograms look so broken? But anyway, they're trying everything they can to contact Earth and to tell them that Ether could be used as a colony planet. If this turns out to be a Cloverfield movie, I swear to God. Then Augustine goes outside and finds out the radiation has reached them, which causes these birds to get frozen to the ground, but yet I guess just an oxygen mask and a coat is enough to protect him. But then he shows Iris a stronger antenna that they have to walk to in order to contact Ether. But if he knew this antenna was stronger and where it was, why did he not just have them fly him over there in the beginning when they had helicopters? Then they go out into the freezing cold and radiation. Back on the ship, Maya introduces Sanchez to her family, which implies that he has never seen her hologram in the 2 years that they have been on the ship, which is weird. Then the ship somehow gets off course, because this movie needed to create a conflict for them, and to correct course, they decide to go into an area that hasn't been mapped yet. But they have the entire area between Jupiter and Earth mapped. So how has no one mapped the left side of space right outside of Earth? But whatever, we bounce back to Earth, and Augustine finds a plane and scares some wolves away. How does the extreme cold freeze birds to the ground, but not affect wolves at all? And don't give me it's the air quality, which was the radiation before, because I don't buy that. But he goes into the plane and just watch this reaction. That was just terrible. Has this guy just been laying here for 3 weeks? But then he shoots him and leaves. I don't know what the point of this scene is. That night, they find a trailer on a lake and spend the night there. And he wakes up to the trailer filling with water because it's sinking. So it gets so cold outside. First of all, they're in the Arctic Circle. It gets so cold outside at night that birds freeze to the ground. but yet this lake can't freeze over enough to hold this trailer with about 300 extra pounds in it. This movie doesn't know how freezing works, does it? And how does Augustine not get hypothermia after just being underwater when it's below zero, he has no shelter, and everything he has is wet? And also, he's somehow able to go through this without getting lost or turned around. He does lose Iris though, and there's this sad music playing as if you haven't already figured out that she's not real. And they find the outpost. And they're finally able to contact Ether, and he tells them that basically he's the only one left on Earth. During this, Ether runs into a meteor shower before they can get the message, and oh no, it broke the antenna and the radar. So now they have to go out and fix it. Remember when I mentioned it being odd for Sully to be pregnant because of some of the things she has to do? Well, they have her go out in space to fix the radar, but I feel like being pregnant in zero gravity is really bad for the baby. But whatever, they go out to the station and fix the radar, while the audience waits for this to go bad, like it does with all these movies. I feel like they should have something that always attaches them to the ship so they don't float away. But there are times where they unlatch their rope so they aren't attached to anything and just push themselves onto another section of the ship before reattaching. And then another meteor shower comes, and Maya gets stuck and gets hit with something and dies. And they finally get back in contact with Augustine and see the condition of Earth. So he tells them to turn back and go back to K-23, but I'm pretty sure they don't have the fuel or the resources for that, since this was supposed to be a round trip, but okay. And Mitchell gets a message from his wife telling him that I think they're still on Earth? It doesn't make it very clear, so he decides he's gonna go there to find them, and tells Adwal to go back to K-23 and start a new life there. Again, do they have everything they need to get all the way back there? This was just supposed to be a round trip. But Sanchez decides to go back with Mitchell to take Maya home, which sounds like more he's just going there to die, but okay. And they take the space shuttle from earlier and head back to Earth. Meanwhile, Sully contacts Augustine one last time, and it's revealed that her first name is Iris, she's his daughter, and the girl who was with him was a figment of his imagination, because it wasn't blatantly obvious from the beginning. But Sully and Adwal go back to K-23 to, I guess, become the new Adam and Eve there. So what happened to the colony ships, or Augustine, or Mitchell and Sanchez, or even Sully and Adwal? Well, it never explains any of that, so I'm just going to assume dead, 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 and dead. This movie's weakest point is that none of its events really matter in the end. The acting is really good, and the visual effects are fantastic, which is the case for most space movies now. I just wish they added another 15 minutes more to show what happened with the space crew. It just stops instead of ends, which makes it seem like a waste of time. Don't forget to do the YouTube stuff, and thanks for watching.